Hey everyone, I got another little review unboxing video here for the Edelkrone QuickRelease One. I'm a proud owner of one of their sliders, absolutely love it, use it on pretty much every shoot that I do. Because of that, I have credit to get some of their stuff on review. And this is the second thing that I've gotten. Came in a great little Pelican case. I don't think that's how they ship normally. But no matter, the gear is absolutely fantastic. I'm really impressed with this little device. So basically what this is it goes in between your camera and your tripod plate. Um, it has a bunch of gears inside this body. This is the bottom of it, that basically make it so that the central body doesn't rotate, but you can see there the outer body and those little screw gears right there move when you rotate this part. And again, the top, the part that connects to the camera doesn't move at all, and the central screw doesn't move when you move the actual knob. And there's a decent gap in between. You can see how it kind of slopes off, so your camera is protected against the movement of the knob, and so is your plate. Your plate is only contacting this bottom part that doesn't move when you rotate. So I really like this little thing. Definitely want to get some for my cameras. How it works: take your camera. Doesn't matter what camera, as long as it has a normal tripod mount right there. They give you a little hex key with it. This is one part, it's not even really a complaint. I wish there would be a way to tighten it on without the hex key, but you absolutely need the hex key, because if you look deep inside there, you can see a little hex bolt, and that's what actually connects it to your tripod screw right here. So you can see that's loose in there. It's just, you can actually spin it, but the only way to get it on and off reliably is to use your key. So you take your key. If you watch the manual on Edelkrone's website, they have video manuals. It's pretty good. They recommend that you put this little thing, little indent, forward, so toward your lens like that. I've seen pictures of other ones. The review model that I got only had one notch. Some of the other ones have a divot there, there, and there. I'm not sure why this one doesn't. I don't know if it's a newer model, an older model, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really affect the functionality. All you really have to do is just pay attention to where that little thing is. So you take it, put it on, line it up roughly. You want to get it as straight as you can, but I mean, it's not a huge deal. Put it on, just a few turns of the hex key, sink it in. It's very secure. Tested it on multiple cameras. And then you want to wrench this guy down. I mean, there's a rubber pad on there that doesn't move again, so your camera's pretty safe. But in my experience testing this, you want it as tight as you possibly can get. So something like that. And I got a little off center, but it doesn't really matter for this demonstration. So there, you can see when it's mounted, it's not super big. At first glance, it is kind of large. And it does raise your camera up, but it's less than a battery grip. And underneath a large camera, you really can't even tell. So again, the central body doesn't move. You rotate the outer knob, and you can even see the gears in there working as I rotate to rotate those screw gears. Again, this is a review copy, so those screws actually came to me relatively banged up, but it didn't affect the functionality whatsoever. On my 5D, you can see it doesn't interfere with the battery at all, which is nice, so I can still open the door. And yeah, speaking to the build quality, this thing is absolutely robust. I mean, that's another very minor negative, is that it is heavy. For how big it is in your hand, it doesn't seem like it would be that heavy, but it's actually, I wouldn't be surprised if it's solid, just a single piece of machined aluminum. But yeah, so once that's on, you get one of your tripod plates, and this is the real beauty, is that it doesn't matter what tripod plate. So like this tripod plate, different than this tripod plate, different than this tripod plate. You know, they're all different, but the concept is they all have in common this screw. So I'm gonna grab the thing that's mounted on my slider one. Kind of a beast, I know. So it's one of the biggest plates that I have. You simply line up the screw mount hole right here with the screw here. You don't really have to, doesn't really matter exactly where it is. You just put it on like so, rotate, and all those rack and pinion gears in there rotate. And I wrench that down, and now it is on. I mean, it is not going to move. I've tried, I mean, if you grab the front of the lens and rotate, you would be able to get it to wrench around. But I mean, it's the rubber on there between the plate and the camera is pretty solid. And then, I mean, once you tighten it down, I mean, I'm using quite a bit of strength, and you can see nothing's really moving. I'm trying to tip the camera, and it won't tip. So I mean, you could load this thing up with a decent amount of weight, and it wouldn't budge. So I'm really impressed with that. On the front, you know, you're going to be advertising for Edelkrone. I don't know if I can rotate this around so you can see it. Yeah, so there's an Edelkrone logo on the front. So that's kind of, I don't know if that's obnoxious or what, but I mean, it's a pretty bright little logo, about as bright as the Canon logo up top. But yeah, so you saw how quick that was to put on, and then how quick it is to take off. You just grab it, rotate less than a half turn, and it's off. So super fast and easy. Now, kind of a funky thing, the idea with that little notch that we talked about is that a lot of plates for camcorders have this extra little peg. So that peg is meant for camcorders that have like an extra little stabilizer. So like this is my AX53. You can see there's the tripod screw, and then there's another divot to keep the plate from spinning. So you would line them up like that and put it in. So Edelkrone wisely thought of this, and that's what that little divot's for on the Release One. So even though you saw it wouldn't shift left and right, it has an extra layer of protection right there if you can line up the extra peg and the tripod screw. So again, I'm doing this in reverse so you can see it from beneath. Line it up, wrench it down. Oops, going the wrong way. Well, it grabbed the thing, but it didn't grab the hole. It takes a little bit of practice to get the extra hole to match up. Like so. Well, it would be easier if it was on the tripod plate. Something to note is that if your extra peg is really far forward, you're limited in your travel backward and forward. So basically, no matter what plate you have to have this screw all the way forward to your extra pin in order to make them match up. Because if it's too far back, the pin is just out in front. It doesn't matter a ton on these tiny plates. However, when you move up to very large plates, such as the Manfrotto, you can see that basically if I want to use both pins, I'd have to have it all the way forward on the plate, which could have a balance issue because then your body's here and your lens is all the way out here. So that could be a problem. You could always mount it backwards, but then you got issues with your head and making sure the arm is on correctly and locking and all that stuff. So, but like I showed you, even for moderate weight cameras, I mean the 5D3 and the 24-105 is not a light combination by any means. Even with that much weight and moving it around quite a bit in my testing, it didn't move even without the extra pin. So yeah, highly recommend this. It looks good on a DSLR. It's quite secure. You can hold it, move it around. Undoing this, I can show you. So that comes off. Again, on my AX53, it adds, so I mean, holding both of these, this is about half the weight, honestly, of this camera. So it's, I mean, or at least it feels that way. I don't know, I don't know actual numbers, but it feels quite heavy. So it does add weight if you're trying to go compact and if weight is a concern for your build. But again, put it on, line up that thing. Like that. And then you have one heck of a steady mount on there. So very impressed with this. Another one of the biggest negatives of this is its cost. It costs about $100 currently on Edelkrone's website. If they were $50, I would buy a handful of them. But at $100, it's going to be a little bit more of a convincing my accounting department to let me get enough for each camera, because if you think about it, you basically need one for each camera that you have for the concept to work. So yeah, if I can get a whole handful, I think I need about 6 or 7. I will, but that would be quite an investment just for some quick releases. But it would be a much heavier investment to get brand new tripod heads that all have the same plate. And even then, I wouldn't get the same tripod heads that work as well. So, huge fan of this little device. Edelkrone makes another really good product. And very happy for their review program. Depending on how much you've bought from them, you can review a large amount or a small amount. But yeah, very glad that I got this. So any questions, shoot them to me in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. Thanks.